All right, guys, so today we're going to pick up at operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is the learning of voluntary behavior because we make choices, we make decisions, we do things because we want to have something or we want to avoid something. Now, all of this is based on Thorndike's law. Thorndike's law is one of the 5 laws we study all year. It is so important that you understand Thorndike's law. Thorndike's law states that if a response is followed by a pleasurable consequence, it'll tend to be repeated. If it is followed by an unpleasant consequence, it will not be repeated. Okay? So, if every single time you raised your hand in my classroom, I came up to you and I punched you right in the face, would you raise your hand in my classroom again? No. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. If you got to punch me back, huh?
Depends on the day.
Some days you really want to be punched in the face? Okay, I get that. Sometimes I really want to punch myself in the face too. Mostly with frustration. Okay? So, if every single time you answered a question, you got a high five, oh, that's a good one. We're good. Okay? You would be like, oh, hell yeah, I want a high five. All right, here we go. Maybe I should start. No, I'm not doing that. I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, every time you answered a question, you get a high five. Oh, my God. Oh, no, that was not good. Yes. Okay? Doesn't it make you want to answer more questions? Yeah. Okay, so when good things happen, you're more likely to do it. If every time you, did something nice for someone else, you know, you got like 20 bucks, everyone would be helping each other all the time. I mean, I don't know where the money would come from, but those types of things. That's Thorndike's law. It makes a lot of sense. Would you agree? Hello? Yeah. If you do the dishes at your parents' house, you go home today and you see the dishes are full. You want a high five too? Okay? If you go home and you see that the sink is full of dishes and you do the dishes and no one says thank you, no one acknowledges it, are you ever going to do it again? No. And if you go home and you do the dishes and your mom yells at you for having a dirty room, does that piss you off? Because you're like, I just did the dishes and now you're yelling at me for something totally different. I'm never doing the dishes again. Exactly. However, if you get positive, you're going to likely do it again. That is the foundation of operant conditioning. Okay, so Skinner is a behaviorist. He believes operant conditioning is the study of behavior. Now, Thorndike is the first person to start operant conditioning. Thorndike comes first. B.F. Skinner comes second. So on your little sheet, I would write B.F. Skinner, number 2. I would write Thorndike, number 1. Thorndike comes first and comes up with this law of effect. If you don't have it somewhere, I'd write it somewhere. Okay? Thorndike comes first, comes up with this whole law of, Thorndike's law of effect. Then B.F. Skinner takes that and creates operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is coined by B.F. Skinner. And B.F. Skinner wants to test it using observable, measurable behavior. And that's how we get it. And then we want to see the response. Now, reinforcement is how everything is done. You just said you would do the dishes if someone said thank you or appreciate, made a fuss over you, and all those types of things. That's a type of reinforcement. A reinforcement is any event or stimulus that will, following a response, will increase the probability. Increase. Doesn't mean it's positive, doesn't mean it's negative, it's just going to increase. Now, a primary reinforcer is food, sex, water. Anything that literally you need to survive. It also deals with touch and any other biological need. All those different types of things. Okay? Now, we also have secondary reinforcers. Now, thankfully, we live in the United States, and most of us have very reliable food sources, and our parents love us. Can we agree? They could do better, but they do love us. We know at the end of the day, yes? Like right now, I'm not so pleased with my father, but I know he loves me, and I'm super cranky. I have to leave tomorrow night. I'm super pissed. Okay? But he loves me. Primary is covered. Most of us are motivated by secondary. Now, if we didn't have food, water, shelter at home, would that be our major focus? If we didn't have food, water, shelter, would that be our primary? Would that be the most important thing to us? Yes, but since we have those all covered, we're mostly motivated by our secondary reinforcers. Secondary reinforcers are money, cars, clothes, vacations, any of those things that are above and beyond food, sex, and water. Okay? On your whiteboard, what motivates you? And don't tell me money. Tell me something like, I love it when my mom does this for me. If she said, like, my mom makes me apple pie every time I go to my parents' house. Like, I love apple pie. My mom makes me one. It motivates me. What is something that really motivates you? Shopping is one. What else? Going to, like, your favorite restaurant. I love Chi-Chios. I ran 8 miles this weekend so I could eat a cheeseburger. Cheeseburgers are highly motivating to me. What else? What is your favorite? You guys are... Mom coming home early, there you go. Listening to my favorite band, there you go. Going to your favorite concert, all those are secondary. On your whiteboard, tell me what is your favorite primary reinforcer. That would be food. I'm referring to food. I'm referring to food.
Like
Give me the specific food, you weirdos.
Okay.
Give me specific, not food. A croissant? Is it really? They're so good. But if you have like a crappy one, they're so disappointing. From where? Aaron. Well, I want to know. I'm just nosy. All right. Chicken and dumplings. I don't think I've ever had a mac and cheese. Gross. Black and white cookies. Oh my God, they're my favorite too.
I literally have to stop eating them because I've eaten so many.
No, that's actually not a thing. You can never eat too many. Do you get them from Publix? They're Boss at Publix.
Everything
I got one yesterday. Boss. No, that's not true.
That is true.
That is not true. All right. Fried chicken. Cold Stone. Oh my God. Yes. Cake batter with strawberry and pie crust. Huh? What? Oh, yeah. You're not eating today. Sorry. Positive reinforcement. Why are you here?
Because I can't miss school.
You should be home with your family.
My family's out of town, actually. They all left me.
All right. Then maybe it's better you're here. Well, happy Yom Kippur. I don't know if that's what you said, but
Have a good fast.
have a good fast.
Have an easy fast.
Yeah, have an easy fast.
Thank you.
Don't look at all the water around the room. What? You can't drink water today. Positive reinforcement is the reinforcement of a response by the addition of experiencing a pleasurable stimulus. Positive reinforcement, if I do well, my parents will give me $20. If I clean the house, my husband takes me out to a nice restaurant. It's not true. However, there is a strong correlation. If I don't know. Publix black and white cookies are my favorite thing, so that would highly motivate me. That would be positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement, and this is where people have issues. So every time you got an A on a test, you go on my wall, this is positive reinforcement. You guys want to be up there, so you work really hard, positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is a reinforcement of a response by the removal, escape, or avoidance of an unpleasant stimulus. Okay? I want you to get on my wall. I want you to get an A on every test. Okay? If I change my policy, if you don't get an A on my test, I'm going to kick you in the shins as hard as I can. Are you going to study really hard in order to avoid getting kicked in the shins really hard? Yes. That is negative reinforcement. Okay? If I said every time if you don't volunteer to answer a question, I'm going to pull your hair. I don't know where that came from, but I'm going to pull your hair if you don't volunteer. What are you going to do? Volunteer. Negative reinforcement is the changing of the behavior. Okay? So on your whiteboard, tell me, is this a positive example or a negative example? On your whiteboard, if you get all A's, you get to go to Europe this summer. Good. Nina? Positive. If you don't eat your peas, your mom makes you sit there and watch The Bachelor with her, and you can't check your phone at all. You have to sit there and have your brain die a little bit. What is it, Julian? Negative. If you if you don't get all A's in school, your mom sits next to you at the kitchen table while you do all your homework for a whole 9 weeks. What is that, Olivia? Negative, because you don't want to sit next to your mama for 4 hours every single night, right? No, you don't. Okay? Now, shaping is the reinforcement in simple steps. I shape your behavior all the time. At the very beginning of the year, I would literally lead the do-nows for you, correct? I would sit up there and say, all right, you guys got 1 minute. All right, you have 30 seconds. All right, here we go. We're going to trade and grade. Everyone switch papers. And then I'm going to teach you exactly what I needed you to do. How involved am I now? I'm usually a disturbance. Can we agree? I'm usually a distraction. I'm not very helpful during do nows, and that's because I've shaped your behavior. If I asked you to lead my do nows day one, would it be nearly as effective? No, it'd be chaos. No, absolutely not. That's called shaping. The fact that you know how my classroom runs when I'm not here, that's called shaping. I use shaping to curve your behavior into doing what I want. Toby is the same way. I'm shaping his behavior. When I first got him, I had to take him out every hour, and he would still pee in my house. Now I've shaped his behavior. He's going out every 4.5 hours. I know you don't care, but that's a big deal because I live on the 7th floor, and that's a long elevator ride to make all the time. Okay? So that is shaping his behavior. He's also growing, but I'm also training him. He hasn't peed in my house in a month and a half. You don't even care, but that's a big deal. Okay? So, successive approximations is the small steps in a behavior in order to get there. Okay? So, when you first walked in my class, you didn't understand how my class works. I was standing here saying, get a whiteboard, get a whiteboard. Now, at this point, I only have like 1 or 2 people maybe forget to grab whiteboards who don't read my sign. I have done successive approximation. You guys come in, you know exactly what to do, how to behave. I don't even have to talk to you except to distract you, and then you yell at me for distracting you. It's perfect. Okay, that's successive approximation. Okay, so step by step, how to do something. How my classroom runs, how to pass out papers. My man Quentin over here, he's probably not going to admit it, but he was throwing some real shade about my numbers on the desk, and he was like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? All that stuff, this doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing that? How is this going to happen? And then I threw it down. I explained how it worked. Is it not a beautiful system?
It's a good system.
Thank you very much. Successive approximation. Okay? So, operant conditioning is extinction. I'm going to fly through this really fast. Extinction means it's gone. Generalization means other things are going to trigger a response. Spontaneous recovery means sometimes it comes back. This overlaps with what type of learning? Classical. Operant and classical do have overlap. Okay? So, punishment is when an event or an object following a response makes the response less likely to happen again. All right? All of you have experienced a punishment. Okay? Whether you got smacked in the hand, whether you got a belt, whether you got soap in the mouth. I always got that. Oh my God. My mom used to make me put bar soap in my mouth because if you curse in my mom's house, she makes you put soap in her mouth until you graduate college. Yeah, took that long. That's okay. Anyway, so my mom put bar soap in my mouth every time I curse. And then one day I was really sassy because it's who I am as a person. And I said, oh, that's not that bad at all. And she was like, okay. So then from there on out, I had to put dish soap on my tongue. And then, of course, you have to escalate the sassy. So after a couple times, and she was like, and isn't that awful? I was like, it's actually not that bad. And then the next time, she made me drink water and swish it around my mouth for 30 seconds. By the way, I was done being sassy. I had successive approximation and learned that you don't give Anne-Marie sass about soap in the mouth because she gets a little creative. That's punishment. I really try not to curse around my mother. Still to this day, but I still do. But she doesn't make me wash my mouth out anymore, so that's nice. Okay, punishment by application. Punishment by application is you have to do something. So for instance, anyone here, if your parents ground you, you have to do a ton of chores? Anyone here have to do chores if they get in trouble? No one? You do? Thank you. What do you have to do? You like dishes, trash?
Dishes, like clean all the rooms upstairs.
Oh my God. That is a perfect example of punishment by application. My mom loves punishment by application. Okay? If I got in trouble, which I always did because I can't keep my mouth shut, okay, I would have to do all the dishes for the week. I'd have to fold everyone's laundry for the whole week. Every day I'd have to do the load and I'd have to sort it all out and fold everything. And then I would have to vacuum all the common spaces in my room. That's punishment by application. Okay? Thankfully, my parents were not really big fans of punishment by removal. Removal means who here gets their cell phone taken away if they start problems? That is punishment by removal. Who here cannot watch TV when they're on punishment? Your parents let you watch TV and threw you in trouble? My parents got so drastic one time, they even took my books away.
I don't get into it.
That's how much trouble I was in.
I don't even watch TV on a daily basis.
Oh my god, I couldn't do it. Yeah. What?
I don't get in trouble because I'm an angel child.
I doubt that. I've met you, and that's a lie. All right, so punishment by removal is that they're taking things away from you. They're taking away your car keys. They're taking away your cell phone. Taking away TV. Taking away your books. If you continue the sass, oh, I don't care about TV. I'll just read my book. And then your mom's like, well, and then fine, I'll sleep. There's nothing she can say about that one. Anyway, don't judge, Bailey. Don't judge. She took away my door once. Because me and my sister were fighting. And rapes. All right, here we go. On your whiteboard. Here we go. Please tell me, what am I describing? Every time I got all A's on my test, my mommy takes me to go get ice cream. What type of reinforcement punishment am I describing? What is it, Isabella? Positive. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called if my mom does something so I never do that behavior again? What is that called? What is it called so I'll never do that behavior again? Okay, what is it, Ellie? It's punishment. What is it when I avoid something? What is it called when I'm doing something to avoid something else? Like, for instance, I don't want to be kicked in the shin if I don't get an A on my test, so I do everything I can to avoid it. What is it, Kayla? You need to know the difference between negative reinforcement and punishment. Punishment means you're never going to do it again. Negative reinforcement means you're doing whatever you can to avoid it. There's a difference. Punishments are severe. Negative reinforcement is you actively trying to avoid something that causes discomfort. Yes?
In the textbook, like when you did the outline, it said that punishment sometimes wasn't effective because
it's not always effective.
Because people still end up doing it.
Oh yeah, I still curse like a sailor. However, punishment is supposed to stop the behavior from happening again. Negative reinforcement is to change your behavior to avoid. Negative reinforcement, positive, is about motivation of behavior. I want to do it because I want to get something. I'm doing this so I avoid that. Does that make sense? If your mom screams at you if you get anything lower than an A, you work really hard to avoid getting yelled at by your mom. That's negative reinforcement. Does that make sense? Punishment is you've done it. It's over. And now your parents are coming down on you saying, don't do this again. Which one is more effective? Negative reinforcement or punishment? Negative reinforcement is more effective. However, the more severe the punishment, the more effective it is to a degree. Does that make sense? If you got a B and your mom threw you in jail, would that be effective? So it's a kind of an escalation kind of thing. Could you imagine if your parents could decide if you got thrown in jail or not?
Oh no, I've been in jail a long time ago.
All right. Do 1, 2, and 3. You're going to write PR for positive reinforcement, NR for negative reinforcement, punishment, or extinction means behavior is totally gone. Just 1, 2, and 3. Do all of them. Just do all of them. Oh my God, you don't need to erase it. You just write 2 under it. Marie, I saw that. Mary. You don't have to write it all out. Write P.
Jeez,
What are
okay.
you doing?
Sorry, I'm not with you today.
All right, wherever you are. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Check your answers for 1, 2, 3, 4. The buddy. Go. Check your answers for 1, 2, 3, 4. 8. Go. Go.
Yeah.
Three, 2, 1. Okay, what is, if Antonio gets a speeding ticket, what is it, Chris? Punishment. There you go. 2, Diane's supervisor compliments her on her hard work. What is it, Lily? Positive reinforcement. If someone likes what you're doing and says it makes you want to do it more, that's positive reinforcement. Leon goes to the health club for a rare workout and pushes himself so hard that his entire body aches and throws up. This is me. I hate the gym so much. What is it, Quentin?
Negative
Punishment. Punishment. He will never push himself that hard again. Would you agree? Okay, he's going to learn his lesson. It's going to change his future behavior, but there's nothing he can do right now. It's just going to change his future behavior. Audrey lets her dog out so she won't have to listen to it whimpering. What is it, Hunter? The dog's whimpering, and she lets him out. What is that? Negative. Why is it negative reinforcement? Why is it negative reinforcement, Bailey?
Because she's removing the dog.
She's removing the dog. Now, for the dog, it's going to be positive reinforcement because they whimper and then the dog's going to learn how to do that. But for the lady gets out of her seat in order to remove the sound. She's doing things in order to get rid of something, negative reinforcement. All right, here we go. All right, punishment more effective. To do when you have children in your far, far future, you need to do it immediately. Punish should be consistent, and wrong behavior should be paired with the right behavior immediately. When you have a dog, it's super important. Any animal, stuff like that. All right, schedules for reinforcement. This is where kids have an issue, and this is where my bell is going to come in to play. All right, partial reinforcement is a tendency for a response that is removed after some. Now, keep in mind, when we talk about reinforcement schedules, the easiest way to think about this, and I mean this, and I'm going through this as fast as I possibly can, okay? The best way to think of it is a Skinner box. Uh-oh, I've already messed this up. Uh-oh, this is why I don't do 3D. That's pretty good. All right, inside a Skinner box, imagine that there is a button and then there's like a food dispenser. This is where your food comes from. And here's a rat. Okay, that's a terrible rat. That's a terrible rat, I know. Thank you. Okay, so here's my rat. Every time he hits the button, food comes out in different ways. Does that make sense? When you think of reinforcement schedules, think of a Skinner box. Who created Skinner boxes?
B.F. Skinner.
B.F. Skinner. This is what it is. This is how he comes up with these reinforcement schedules. So the first one is partial reinforcement schedule, which means it comes in various. Continuous reinforcement. Now, when we're going through this, you need to think of a real-life example as well as a Skinner box, okay? So, every time I hit the button, I get food. 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 Every time I hit it, I get food. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. On your sheet, next to continuous reinforcement, I would write 1-to-1 ratio. I hit the button, I get food. I hit the button, I get food. Everyone gets it? Hello? Okay, because it's going to get only harder. Fixed ratios means after a certain amount of hits, okay, when we talk about, there's fixed, okay, fixed means hits on the button, okay? Hits is fixed. Interval equals time. Time passing. Okay? So, when you talk about fixed, it's how many times you hit the damn button. Okay? Interval is how much time passes in between. So, when we have fixed ratio, okay? Fixed ratio means how many times the button is hit. Okay? So, I would write fixed ratio. Same hits equals food. Okay? So if I have a fixed ratio of 3, so I have to hit the button, 1, 2, 3, food. 1, 2, 3, food. 1, 2, 3, food. 1, 2, 3, food. Every third time I hit the button, I get food. Does that make sense? Okay? A real-life application of this is your little smoothie punch cards. After 6 smoothies, what do you get? A fixed, yes, that's a fixed ratio. So next to fixed ratio, I would write a smoothie card, by the way. That's a perfect example. Okay, a variable interval means time changes. When it's fixed, okay, when it's ratio, okay, ratio equals hits Here, I want to move this around. Ratio means hits. Interval equals time. Fixed means consistent. Variable equals changes. Okay, so if I have a variable interval, time changes.
In some of your classes today, you may have noticed your peers wearing black shirts who read their stories to you. These stories are about incidents involving drunk driving and texting and driving.
We did.
The reality of this activity needs to be addressed more often. In 2013 alone, 10,716 died.
It's really important. It really is.
In 1 year,
It really is.
3,000 teenagers are killed from texting and driving. You have decisions to make every day regarding not only your own life, but the lives of the people around you. While they're texting and snapping friends while driving may seem insignificant.
I'm uncomfortable with these.
What kind of condition
Those
is this?
unsaid activities
Makes me want to punch myself in the face.
This upcoming weekend at the football game in homecoming should be full of fun.
Why is this on Wednesday?
He sounds
High school is just beginning.
So enthusiastic.
Your future. Just remember, we are family.
Why Wednesday?
And we are family.
Okay, it's really important. Don't drink and drive. Okay, back to learning. Okay, so interval schedule, variable interval means varying amount of time. So I hit the button. As soon as you hit the button, time starts. Okay, variable interval means, okay, so I hit the button, 1, 2, 3, food. So I get the food on the third one. Then I hit the bell, time starts again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I get food. I hit the bell again, time starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I get food. Variable interval means the time in between the hits will change. Does that make sense? Hello? Okay, a perfect example of variable interval is slot machines. Slot machines is a perfect example because there's a certain amount of time that it takes in between each jackpot to go off. Okay, and it changes every single time. Okay, so fixed interval means the same time passes every time in between hits. So if I hit it, 1, 2, 3, food. Hit it, 1, 2, 3, food. Hit it, 1, 2, 3, food. I'm literally waiting on a certain amount of time to pass. Does everyone get that? Hello? Okay, this is like the hardest part of this, people. Variable ratio, okay, is after so many hits, it changes. So 1, 2, 3, food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, food. The amount of hits changes after a certain amount of time. Hello? Ugh. Okay.
What's intermittent?
Intermittent means it's all over the place. Guys, this is all over your test tomorrow. Ugh. It's all over your test tomorrow. It is all over your test tomorrow. Watch my video, people. What? Means a change. A variable.
I know, but is it like a constant change? Like
It doesn't have to be, but variable means it's always going to be different.
and then intermittent.
Intermittent means it's all over the place. No predictability. Guys, check out my video. Like you need it. Like for real. Like legit. Do you now see my struggle? Now that I pointed it out, do you understand?
You did us all a favor by dressing up.
See? Exactly. Can you imagine my crankiness? I mean, I usually have like a normal level of rage. Could you imagine if it was
For
worse?
real. Shit.
Bye, Chris. Have a good week. Guys, be careful. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Definitely don't snap and drive.
I do that all the time, by the way.
I wouldn't be that proud of that, Rochelle.
Talk about it.
That's not good.
I break the law all the time, man.
There's
I love
I saw made at like 5. So
breaking
that's
my
like
law.
a take that.
Yeah. Can I take it tomorrow? No. Because I'm not here. Have you not been listening? Yes.
Okay, I can make it up.
When I get back on Tuesday.
Oh, I can make it up Tuesday?
Well, yes. You're running out of time. Go away. Olivia, you were a week behind. Great close last week.
Yeah, but now I'm catching up. It's gonna be good. And I'm gonna come to school. It's gonna be great.
It's a good way to think. You
Oh
have to have hope.
my God.
Aren't you glad we're not like that?
How are you today, Dom?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. Today's Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday.
Are you excited for the cruise?
No. There's nothing about it that makes me happy.
Oh yeah, it didn't get canceled through there.
I know. I was so hoping. My husband has been, since the
What do you
moment we figured it out, we were trying to figure out ways to get out of it.
Wow. Just
Yeah.
break your leg.
No,
Break
because
a
I
leg?
feel like that would be just too much of a distraction to like my personal life. You know what I mean?
So, like,
my
a finger
parents
or
threw
two.
out like we should just get a divorce and we wouldn't have to go. Because my sister's boyfriend is coming. This is his first family holiday or vacation. We are all dreading it, including my parents. Yeah. So not only are we trapped on a ship, we're trapped on a ship with one of the most annoying people I've ever met.
Well, that's.
And how well do you think I do with annoying people?
I think you deal with it very well. You deal with kids.
Yeah, I know, but I don't do well with
I mean,
annoying
not the
adults.
most annoying. Oh.
I don't do well with adults. I can deal with kids. At some point, like, you're just not mature enough, and I get that, and I have patience for you. When you're grown up, and you can't be, like, do normal grown-up things, I have no sympathy.
Oh,
Just let it.
What? Huh? What is happening tomorrow,
Nothing.
Friday, and Monday with
You're
me,
not
Zach?
Like what?
Yeah, I'm not here. Thank you for listening for the last like month and a half.
You're going on a cruise,
Yes.
right?
Nothing's gonna happen.
I'll come 7:30.
Awesome. Ugh. Not the bell. Not the bell. No, no, I didn't get to finish what I needed to finish. I'm furious. Oh, I'm still recording.
Look at that. Somehow people hear your aggression towards.
Yeah, your aggression towards me is gonna be on your video.
That was not aggression towards you. You don't listen, and then you're completely